The plan creates a single national standard, replacing the current patchwork of confusing state-by-state regulations.
In part, the framework looks to promote keeping kids safe in an AI-driven world, provide training to the workforce of the future, all while defending free speech online.
For more, let's bring in Fox Business contributor Lou Basenese. It's great to see you, Lou, and we were talking about this on our show earlier today, and one of the arguments was, well, a lot of the things that are in this framework are actually happening already in practice. So what's the need for the framework? And my answer to that was, well, those things are happening in practice because of who is in the White House. But when he is not in the White House, companies may not feel the same need to comply. And so the framework then creates legislation around it to create some structure.
I'm in your camp, and Brian's going to push back on me because he's the raving fan of federalism. Here's what we need to do. We learned the hard way with social media. If you scale fast and first and worry about protection later, you pay the consequences, and our kids suffered. And I think the AI superhighway is being built. We need to put in car seats, but also not speed limits, right? We need to innovate quickly. We got to make sure the kids are protected, because this is not just about new technology. It's a national security issue. And I'm sorry, I'm a fan of federalism too, but if you leave it up to 50 different states to regulate this, that's a national security technology we're putting in the hands of the states that don't really have the authority, or any of these politicians, the insight into AI to understand how this dynamic technology needs to work and function this week, let alone 3 years from now.
So one of the things I think about with this issue, and I am a fan of federalism, is with social media and the internet, we kind of had a national policy. It was Section 230. It created this big space for the internet and social media to grow up. We're watching today this huge social media trial, which is all about all of the problems allegedly that have happened to young people because we had this national policy and it was really big and wide open. And so I wonder if the lesson we've learned from social media and the internet is maybe we got that national policy wrong. Why would we want to replicate that with AI?
You are 1,000% right. I'm adamant about this. Section 230 was completely flawed because it put the accountability off of the social media platforms. They have no liability for any of the content that goes across their networks. We should either revise Section 230 to make them liable. Watch what happens when you make the companies liable, how quickly they clean up their act. An interesting thing in this case, though, right? This case being brought in New Mexico, and you could probably talk about this because your law background, was done under consumer protection laws to get around the Section 230 obstacle because they know it's such a big one. So I think we learned from the past and said, hey, we didn't make the companies that are driving this technology responsible for the harm that it does. That's why the duty of care provision in the House bill was extracted. The Senate wants it, bipartisan, that these companies should be responsible for it. So I'm with you. If you have a national framework, make sure it's right. Make sure it works. I think we're trying to get there with AI.
I would just say, though, in the case of the social media companies in this specific trial that we're waiting for the verdict, if a guilty verdict comes in, or even guilty in some portion, and there's damages and liability, legally we would be setting a precedent that you can't do certain things. The companies would have to adapt, or they would realize that they're going to face a long line of lawsuits, and now there's precedent against them. So do you kind of get to the same place, or do you like it better still saying, nope, let's do it by revising Section 230?
Again, I think you want to revise Section 230 to prevent it. You're going to change the behavior, because this is my example. Remember when we had the collapses with Enron and accounting, and we created Sarbanes-Oxley? That made individual executives personally liable. And have we had any huge, financial accounting irregularities since then?
That.
No, because when you have to personally sign off, you change your behavior. So I think you got to change the default setting of the Mark Zuckerbergs of the world, who have allegedly been accused as being a repeat offender of harming users of their platform or the product. I think you got to set that precedent. I think
I still think this verdict is going to be really important.
I agree with you.
We're watching it. So we're watching in LA. They call this case that we're watching, the social media trial, one of the bellwether cases. Okay, so depending on how it gets decided, it could affect how several other cases get decided. And it seems like it could have massive ramifications for social media companies. Do you think we're at the beginning of a potentially very different and new chapter when it comes to social media and how it operates?
Yeah, and we have an analog with history. It's called big tobacco. Look at that, how the advertising, how they preyed upon kids and advertised knowing the negative effects of nicotine. and had just a bevy of settlements that, cascaded after the first one. I think you get the same thing.
It's tricky, though. It's easier in some ways, I think, to prove causation with tobacco, with a drug, with chemicals inside your body, medical studies, versus when the psychiatrist came on and said, well, listen, the person at issue in this case was having issues already. So the social media didn't help the situation, but you have to prove that direct causation. I think that's a hard leap to make.
Except when you have files internally at Meta that say they knew that 1 in 3 preteen girls were more depressed because they used the platform, and individual features alone were causing those mental health issues.
Well, this jury poured over evidence.
It is,
I mean, copious amounts of evidence, so it'll be really interesting.
We are eagerly awaiting that verdict. Lou Basenese, always good to see you. I'd love to mix it up with you a little bit. Good times. All right, coming up.